We were out at Red Lobster, midway through our meal, when I got a call. I picked up the phone since it was my stepdad. I might be the jerk here because I just dropped everything and took off running. As you can expect, my mother had an episode, and my dad told me to come over. By the time I arrived, my stepdad told me that things were under control and that it was just a scare because she suddenly felt dizzy, lightheaded, and her head started to hurt. I thought that would be the end of it, but it turned out to be real as she started to have a seizure in the living room, and we had to rush her to the doctor. It took a good 30 minutes for her to stabilize, and I called my girlfriend to let her know that my mom was okay and that if she wanted, we could resume our date. She told me that she didn't want to anymore and that I was a massive jerk for leaving her like that and ruining her special day. She's told her friends, who sent me messages telling me how much of a jerk I am. I'm lost. What was I supposed to do? Commenter, you're the jerk. First of all, does your mother have epileptic seizures without warning, or does she get dizzy, lightheaded, and have a headache before having a seizure? This is more out of curiosity than anything else about the inconsistency. Second, she's a grown woman with epilepsy. She doesn't need you to drop what you're doing and rush to her location when she has a seizure. She needs to get her seizures under control with the help of her doctor. If her husband is present, he can handle the aftermath and get her medical attention. Two people aren't required. You can still be involved and helpful, but surely when it's an important day and you're occupied, her husband can handle things. Third, you rushed out of your girlfriend's birthday dinner without telling her why or making sure she had cash or a ride home to tend to someone who did not really need your help. That's not prioritizing your mom's medical needs, that's blowing your girlfriend's needs out of the water. OP's response, she usually has seizures without warning, and only a few times with warning. I can count on one hand the number of times she's given us some kind of warning about her episodes, this being the fourth time. Her husband cannot lift anything due to a work-related injury before meeting my mom, and not to be mean, but she leans a bit on the heavier side. I didn't leave my girlfriend completely stranded, as I had given her money earlier as part of a birthday gift, money which I intend to pay back, of course. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know my faults and what I did wrong. Commenter, what about calling an ambulance, or is this in the USA? OP's response, I've asked my father about that before, why not the ambulance? He says he doesn't really know, it's just his first instinct to call me. We do indeed live in the USA. Update 1, hello again. A lot has happened in the past few days, and I don't even know where to start or where my head is at right now. It just feels surreal. Many of you will be displeased to hear this, but my girlfriend and I are still together. Apologies to those who commented but didn't get a reply. I did read each and every comment and took them to heart, even the ones that were rough around the edges. It was eye-opening, to say the least, and made me realize a lot. The same day as the original post, I messaged my girlfriend to talk with her. She told me she was at her parents' house, so I went over, and we had a talk. I apologized for leaving so abruptly without making sure she was okay, but I didn't know any better since that's how I was raised and what I was taught. She said she understood and apologized for slandering me with her friends, but she only wanted her opinion validated. Okay, no biggie. I asked her if she ever felt second in line whenever it came to my mother, and she said yes. This made me open my eyes more and more to the situation at hand, just like the comments were pointing out. I admit I cried a bit, and my girlfriend held me and consoled me. I went to sleep on it, and the next morning I decided to confront my parents. My girlfriend insisted on tagging along but understood when I told her this was something I had to do on my own. I arrived at my parents' place, and my mom greeted me like nothing happened. She felt something was off when I didn't reply, and I told her to sit down and talk with me. She looked really worried. I was blunt and outright asked if she was really sick because the more I thought about it, or rather, the more I recalled the comments calling me out on her behavior, the more doubt I had. Did she really have seizures? If she has seizures, why does she have her husband call me instead of an ambulance? I pointed out how if those were real seizures, like I've read online, she'd be either aggressive towards us or have no idea who she is, where she is, or why. As a few Redditors suspected, she doesn't have seizures. It turned out to be a controlling tactic on her part to keep me around and on a short leash. It was one of the worst feelings I've ever experienced, and it genuinely made me nauseous. My whole life was built on a lie. You can imagine the turmoil, anger, sadness, shock, and disappointment, all hitting me at once. And then my stepfather walked in. I only asked him once if he was part of this, and he couldn't look me in the eye. Right then and there, I knew that I had no family anymore, so I left. On my way to work, I started getting bombarded with calls and texts from her, but I simply blocked her and ignored her. So, here's where I'm sitting right now.